Peggy 16.
Salut tout le monde, c'est Waric de Waric&Dan Gaming. On se retrouve pour le 13e épisode de Technomancer. Alors là on est arrivé à Noctis, on a nettoyé l'entrée pour qu'il nous laisse passer. Mais je vois qu'il y a un escalier sur le côté, on va voir si on peut monter et lui parler directement. Eh ben non, on peut pas lui parler.
Hey, mister! You got a minute? I need to ask you something. You Zachariah Mancer? You are, aren't you? You're helping out the merchant prince, right?
I guess. Yeah, what's going on?
I don't. My partner died a few days ago. Got sick, just all of a sudden. A lot of folks catching it, but no one cares none because it's only killing refugees. They don't care about us or what's causing it. They don't care that we all seem to be catching it. Sick and dead everywhere, everywhere. No remedy or nothing. Only one who seems to care or help is that preacher son. But he can't heal everyone. He's just one fella.
Preacher's son healing the sick.
Sure enough. Boy's known for performing miracles. I ain't religious, even less now that my heart, my soul, my love was taken. So I don't know if it's true. Just telling you what I've heard.
Miracles? Mystic or medical? Zealot or scientist? Who holds the key? Who knows? Who knows anything but this? An epidemic spreading among the refugees would have catastrophic effects. Dangerous, bizarre. I need more information. Symptoms only affecting the refugees, you say?
I don't know. It seems like, but I don't. It's why we, all the refugees, not just me, need your help. We gotta find what's causing this disease and get a cure real quick. No one around here has much, and now they're even losing their lives. You gotta help us.
I'll see what I can do. What were your wife's symptoms?
I don't know. I ain't a doctor, but a lot of stomach stuff, cramps, throwing up, just pain everywhere. She was even starting to see stuff that wasn't there. Talking crazy. It was awful.
What about everyone else who's sick?
Most are poor like us, around the neighborhood of the gates. Left the corporations with nothing. Arrived here with nothing. Now they're dying because they can't even afford a doctor.
Let me go talk to other refugees and see what I can find.
Thank you, Mr. Mancer.
Ok, bon on verra ce qu'on peut faire pour les aider.
Hey there.
What do you want, human?
Pas très causant lui. On a un marchand là-bas. On va voir vite fait.
The most exotic goods on the planet, all here in one stall.
Hey, let me ask you a few questions.
Sure. Why not? What do you want to know?
You know the man beside you?
Of course. He's a friend.
How you feeling?
I don't know. Fine, I guess. All things considered. I don't think I'm sick right now, but I've grown real tired looking after him. Don't sleep so well lately because of it.
What's he been up to since he came to Noctis?
Well, we haven't been here for too long now. Had no steady work and no serum. So what he'd do is the odd jobs here and there when he could find them. Same as most of the rest of us. We all sleep in here. Hang around the city the rest of the day, that's about all of it. Not much else to tell, honestly.
Think he could have eaten something that made him sick?
Maybe. I don't really know. He's been eating a lot from the community soup, I know that.
You haven't?
Well, I woulda, but first time I gone there, I got in an argument with the religious fellow that runs it. About religious things and such, you know? So, I don't go back. Not really welcome. Found other ways to stay fed.
What are his symptoms?
Stomach aches real bad. Yeah, he, has trouble, you know, holding it in, if you know what I'm saying.
The symptoms seem to align with cholera. Worrisome. Might be the start of a terrible outbreak, but could also be foodborne, perhaps, too. Maybe from the community soup so many of them feed themselves from. Contamination, or even poison?
Well, it won't be a hard theory to test. Nearly everyone eats the community soup. Good or not, it's free. And free's all most can afford.
We need to talk to whoever's making the soup. Thank you.
Sure enough. You're welcome. Gonna take him to the preacher's son soon. Hear he's been healing folks left and right.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, my stomach. Oh, my stomach.
I'm trying to figure out what's making everyone sick. Can I grab a blood sample from you? It'd help a lot.
Yeah. If it helps find a cure. Take all you want.
I should be able to use this to see what's making all those people sick.
J'ai un peu de science, mais pas grand chose.
Let's take a closer look at this sample. Arsenic. Should have known. Symptoms match, but who would have poisoned all these people? These people were poisoned. Had to be the community soup. Need to take a sample, run some tests, and find out what's in it.
J'ai de la chance, j'ai réussi le test.
You work here?
Yep, I help cook.
You eat here too?
Yes, of course. But only a little. I have a weak stomach, so I don't eat everything that's offered. Why?
I'm sure you've heard about all the refugees getting sick. There's a chance it's coming from your food.
Oh, my. I couldn't imagine how. I just take what they give me and cook the dishes how I'm told. That's all. I don't add anything. So the disease must be coming from somewhere else.
Who gives you the food?
Well, I mean, it all comes from the parish donations given to the preacher's family. Real good people, you know. They can't have anything to do with it. Their son actually heals the sick. So don't go pointing the finger at them, you hear me? It ain't in the food that's making people sick. I'll tell you that.
Let's analyze this and end the mystery. Let's find out the killer ingredient in this soup. Here's a sample of the community soup the refugees are eating. Need to know if it's got arsenic in it.
I don't like soup, Zachariah. Makes me sweat when I eat it. Unless it's cold soup. Even then, I don't like it. Never trust a man who eats or makes soup. That's a fact.
Maybe you could just put that back to test with a little science? Actual experimentation on the sample?
Fine. Just as I said. And yet another reason to hate soup. It's laced with garbage like arsenic. Who would feed such a dish to the poor, Zachariah? Tell me that.
This wasn't a disease. This was poisoning. And that soup's the source. And I doubt it's a coincidence that the source of both the soup and the antidote is the preacher's son.
Ah, on a trouvé le problème. Bon, heureusement que Scott était là, parce que sinon, j'ai un peu beaucoup raté mon essai.
What the hell would possess you to poison all those refugees? What did they ever do to you to deserve that?
Have you ever been adored by people? How generous they can be when you save their lives. When they believe that you healed them, they flocked to my father's temple. Why wouldn't I have done it?
Because people died, and a lot are still suffering. You're pathetic.
Maybe so. But better to be disgusting than stupid. I knew you'd be coming around sooner or later, so I loaded up with bodyguards. Do what I'm paying you for! Kill him! Stop! I'm rich! Everyone respects my father in Noctis. Let me live, and he will pay you all the serum you could ever want.
I'm not gonna kill you. Enough people have died already. What you're gonna do is give the antidote to every refugee you made sick, and never go within a block of that community soup again. We clear?
Yes, of course. Sure. Antidote for everyone, yeah, and I promise not to do anything like that ever again. How stupid, I swear. Thank you.
Don't thank me. I already regret not making you pay dearly.
Non mais où? On va pas accepter en plus son argent sale. Bleh. Ok, on va pouvoir dire à l'autre on a réglé le problème. Malheureusement lui il a déjà perdu sa femme.
So, you find a cure yet?
I did. Except it's an antidote, not a vaccine. You'll find stocks of the plant that will help you heal everyone in the preacher's son's neighborhood. It's all over now. Don't worry.
Thank you, Mr. Mancer. Thank you so very much.
Et voilà. Bon, ici ils vont bien nous voir.
The long-distance caravans arrived and it's going straight to the palace again. When will I ever get my delivery?
Stop being so impatient. The prince wants a recollection of the journey and news updates from our distant contacts. It's normal and necessary. Without his vigilance, Noctis would be nothing.
La bête, ça nous ferait deux. Pourquoi pas. Mais il y a la science qui m'intéresse, je pense, pour le prochain. Jolie architecture, hein, pour un truc. On va dire un endroit aussi apparence désolée.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Do you have a moment?
Hey there.
Hello, I'm Brett. And you are?
Zachariah.
A pleasure then, Zachariah. Are you a hunting enthusiast, a trapper, specialist in local species? Maybe a strong fellow like you might be a mixture of them all.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm none of those things.
Ah, well, my hope got the best of me. I've been looking for someone to aid in my studies. A shame. Sure you're not a hunter, or even someone who'd want to try his hand at it?
Can you tell me what's going on?
Yes, of course, of course. You see, the focus of my study is the planet's fauna, all the insects and animals brought by the settlers that have since mutated, much like our own mutants, if not in a more spectacular way. Now, I've studied the most well-known of the creatures, of course, but I have heard of much more rare specimens, which I would go to any lengths to study. It would offer great insight into the animal mutations. Anyone can admire their beauty, but what we need is to understand how they came to be what they are. We need to study their anatomy, but they are, of course, rather dangerous.
So you need a hunter to find them and bring back your specimens. I might be able to help. What are you after?
Well, there is so much. There's a black mole and a shield toad. Also a locust I've named Locusta tempestatus, or more colorfully, the storm locust. It's been spotted in the tunnels beneath Ophir.
Bon, on verra si on les trouve.
Check the leading against me. Ah, and here comes the rare pearl, the diamond in the rough that my Nisha tells me about. Come, young man.
Zachariah Mancer. was a lieutenant in Abundance.
Then welcome to Noctis Labyrinthus, Zachariah Mancer, former lieutenant of Abundance. I am Dandolo, head of this fair city.
Legendary city of the merchants. Apparently less legend than I thought, or been told.
But hopefully as glorious as legends proclaim. Regardless, for all who come seeking asylum, it opens its arms to you and your companions. You are free to call it home. Like all who have come before you, you will honor our only request, that you make yourselves useful to our city. I'm sure your skills will place you in high demand. Noctis' first Technomancer. Exciting. You'll have all the help you need with Nisha and Lucky, who I believe you've met. We'll give you a room to get some rest. I hear your trip was quite eventful. There is something else. I would like to personally discuss my expectations of you. You hear? War between Abundance and Aurora's winding down. Aurora took Green Hope.
You just left Ophir a few hours ago and didn't hear anything about that.
That really surprise you? Your little censorship office probably hasn't decided what to do with the information yet. No. Don't look at me like that. You don't belong to Abundance anymore. The truce doesn't behoove us. During peace, the corporations become more suspicious of us and our business suffers. Our city could even be discovered, which would be catastrophic. In legend, it must remain.
What do you...
No, let me speak. Your welcome here comes at a price. I want you to attack an Aurora convoy. It's right up your alley.
And why would I do that?
I didn't finish. You will do it in Abundance uniforms, dissolving the truce. Do what you want with the soldiers, but let the civilians live. They need to be witnesses that will report back to Aurora.
So you keep the war going?
Precisely. And while you're at it, bring back the uniforms of the Aurora Technomancers you dispatch. I'm sure I'll find a use for them down the road. Another thing, much more trivial this time, I assure you. The rover you came in on, I'd like you to move it. Put it wherever you want, do whatever you want with it. Just make sure it's not in the way in the canyon. I just don't want Ophir to stumble over the machine and, as a result, find the road that leads here.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Oh yes, one last thing. My spies gave me a little tidbit that might interest you. Right after your escape, the ASC arrested your Technomancer brothers. That's what you call them, right? From Ophir. Their fate's uncertain, but if I was you, I'd be worried for them. If you're worried enough to want to help them, maybe we can set up some sand sails to get you back.
And your help comes at what cost? Assuming it's not out of the kindness of your heart.
Don't be so bitter, Zachariah. Business is business, not personal. I just thought a few Technomancers on our side might be useful.
What's the word on Anton Rogue?
A bastard like no other. my worst enemy and biggest threat. I've done my damnedest to make sure my existence, like this city, is little more than a vague rumor. Anton Rogue, though, knows damn well that me and this city are real. Just doesn't know where to find us. At least I hope not. He's big business competition, hopes to push the power of his organization into every corporation. And what better way for him to do it than through us? I do what I can to prevent him from reaching us, but he's not a man who quits till he gets what he wants.
Then why even try to stop him? It's just business, right?
True enough. But his methods aren't good for my business, or yours. He's a product of the abundance regime, and because of that, he only knows terror and violence as his tools. I prefer, well, more tactical methods.
Bon, j'ai vu défiler tout un tas de quêtes pour nous, mais vraiment j'ai pas le temps de les lire. Plein de trucs de crochetage. Alors, on en a 3. Ok, là, ça faut qu'on se déguise. Ok, donc on a un déguisement à faire. Le chariot... le char, plutôt. Enfin, le véhicule avec lequel on est arrivé à ranger.
He's intelligent but shifty. He wishes to fire up another conflict, another war. Blood, corpses, misery. Those things follow a merchant of death. We should never have left Ophir.
I would have died there, Scott. I'm sorry you had to come with me. I really am. You could have stayed. But I have to go see what Dandolo wants.
I know it sounds bad, but what do you think Abundance or Aurora would do if they found our little outcast city? Dandolo may be cruel, but in the end, he only wants what's good.
Bon, voilà, c'est dit. On va aider comme on peut en attendant. Là, il y a le prêcheur. On va essayer d'avoir le prêcheur là. Si je comprends par où faut passer, parce que là c'est pas évident.
You wanted to see me?
Yes. I apologize once again for having to play this role in front of you, but the situation was a difficult one, and I could not risk blowing my cover.
I understand. You're one of Dandolo's spies too?
No, I work for my people, even if Dandolo was a precious ally. I was in Ophir to plan an escape, but it was not exactly what I wanted to tell you about. I would like to offer you my services.
You're also a mercenary?
No, I am not interested in serum, and a Technomancer ally, yes. It is rare for mutants to know someone with your talents. So if you need a hand or any information, you know where to find me. And maybe I will ask for your services once in a while.
All right. What really happened with your mother? I must say I didn't understand much. That stone? The police's arrival?
My mother was helping me as much as she could to carry out my mission. She would provide me with information, sometimes hide mutants on the run before they could leave the city. She was a wonderful woman, Zach, but someone turned her in. Fiorello heard and raced to get me out with your aid. Though how I yearned to save her, to get to the slums to warn her. But I knew I could not. You, though, could. The stone was a token of recognition. She knew what it meant. If she was turned in, she had to leave as soon as possible. And if she couldn't, the drawing was made with an ink made of jellyfish venom.
But why give her that poison?
I didn't want her to die, Zach. I loved my mother. But I knew what the ASC would do to her in their jail. If they caught her, she needed a way to avoid being tortured.
Comprends mieux du coup.
When did you discover that you were a mutant?
The first symptoms of mutation appeared when I was very young. I must say that I can't really remember very well. My mother noticed them, and she taught me how to hide the marks, even though I think that I didn't know what it meant. She was hoping to keep me close to her, but as soon as the first marks appeared on my face, they spotted me out right away. I will never forget my arrest, how violent they were toward my mother. I was just a kid. I was sent to one of the farms on the outskirts of town. That's where I learned what it meant to be a mutant.
What's the mutant nation? You created it, right?
It is a little overblown, but I was one of its founders, among many others. Of course, other mutants were living outside the city as runaway slaves, hidden here and there, stealing whatever they could find in order to survive. A small community had settled in Noctis and benefited from the hospitality of the merchants, who allowed them to move around freely. However, we did not have any way to defend ourselves or plan a future. We were all spread out. A few of us decided to get together. We found a place, a very unique one, and we soon started doing it up, bringing in equipment and erecting houses. As for me, I especially wanted to free as many brothers and sisters as possible. So I went back to Ophir, and I realized that nobody cared about mutants, especially if they didn't look very smart. I began to help dozens of them escape. And our nation soon began to grow. There are a lot of us now, and I hope that all mutants will be able to live there someday.
Ok, bon, on va voir pour l'aider. Ah, donc du coup, ouais, je peux le prendre avec moi.
Hello, Amelia.
Hey. You know I'm mad at you, right? You realize what you did to me? You stole my rover, took me to that strange city, and left her in the middle of nowhere. I know that you were nice to me, but still.
Dandolo wants me to bring your rover back here.
Now he's just showing off. At least he knows how much a machine like that one is worth. Unlike you do realize that my rover dates back to the settlers? I cared for her like a mother, maybe even more. Bring her back to me. She's got sentimental value and she's all I have left. In the meantime, I'll go find the tools to repair her. And I'd also like to talk to you in private, if you don't mind, regarding what you discovered in Ophir.
Tell me more about you growing up.
What's there to say? I was a ward of the state in Abundance's centers. It was lonely and, you know, the other kids were assholes, but I gotta tell you, those times my dad returned from his missions, and I got to see him, best times of my life.
Wait, what? I thought the reason you'd been placed in a center was that your dad disappeared.
Who the hell told you that? No, I was real young when they took me away. My parents were always off on missions, and someone had to take care of me, you know? I don't even remember living with them. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it.
Sure, sorry. Yeah, of course. Besides your rovers, what else makes you happy here, Amelia?
Nature. Not the bugs or animals and stuff, but the landscapes, you know? Sunsets, mountains scraping the sky, red water trickling down the hills in the spring, gray lichen floating in the morning breeze. Back in Ophir, I used to take the rover out before sunrise just to take it all in. Always managed to put things in perspective, you know? How small we all are.
Amelia the poet philosopher. Who'd have thought it?
Why you gotta be a smartass?
Aha, I'm not. Just never saw that side of you. The passion makes me want to take a rover out before dawn tomorrow.
Well, let's go together. I've always wanted to share it with someone.
Apparemment, faut faire gaffe à ce qu'on dit, donc je vais peut-être pas parler de ça.
Hey, there you are. Your meeting go well.
As well as hoped. Thanks.
Then let's get down to business. You know who I am. You know my past. You know what little I have left. What are you gonna do about it now is the question.
You gonna use what you can against me, or let me carry on with the small life I've managed to build?
I want to help you. What can I do?
Some things can't be healed, Rogue. Like that scar across your face. I'm guessing you got it the day I lost everything. And was reduced to a sad, broken, armless shadow of what I might have been.
Some things can't be healed, but most can be mended, friend. Let me ask around. It might be a long shot, but maybe you'll find a new reason to call yourself lucky again. We'll find someone who can lead you back to your gifts. I promise.
I may be bitter, but I'm no less grateful. Thank you, Zachariah. A little show of kindness goes a long way.
Je sais pas. Bon, je sais bien, mes relations sont bonnes avec tout le monde. Je prendrais bien le mutant. Bon, on va essayer d'aider. Du coup... J'hésite, est-ce qu'on a le temps de faire une quête? On va aller voir le prêcheur, et puis voilà. Mais j'aime bien prendre le mutant, moi. Ah, le fameux prêcheur.
Repent! We won't have access to the Blue Paradise so long as we are not all absolved of our sins. You came here to wash your soul?
I had something else in mind. I'm looking for some work. Would you happen to have anything for me?
It is the Shadow who has sent you. I am looking for new worship objects for my followers. And there are relics, benign traces of those who used to live in the canyons around the city, in the ruins of splendid cities. I would have gone there myself on my knees as if it were a holy pilgrimage, but that horrible place is teeming with disgusting creatures and ruthless thieves.
You want me to get the relics for you then? All right, I'll see what I can do. Even though I have some doubts regarding those splendid cities, only a few dwellings there.
Voilà, une quête en plus.
Sorry, pal, can't go through. Priest ordered us to let no one through. No one includes you.
Ok. Je vais prendre le mutant avec moi quand même. Bon allez, on va se laisser là-dessus. Et puis je vous dis à bientôt pour l'épisode 14. Salut tout le monde!